You're staring again. Makes me feel all warm inside. This mask, it smiles for me when I'm busy. Don't worry, I'll be quick. Probably.
My sunlit human was there, a giant in a simple tunic. Our son, Oak, hanging from his arm like a determined little sloth. Our daughter using a rudimentary vine whip as a lasso, a squealing Bimo. The scene was chaos. A beautiful, breathing, domestic chaos that was now my central ecosystem of my world. My pack, my den, my heart walking outside of my chest. Finn's eyes met mine over the children's head. His smile was a physical warmth, a silent, "See, this is our life." I answered with a slight, almost impeccable softening around my eyes that he had learned to decipher as my purest joy. The peace, I had learned, was a temporary state, a calm between the strange, structured storms I now occasionally chose to navigate. The memories of my last gathering was a particular scent on the wind, perfume, ozone, and something metallic. Himiko's consuming obsession, Aria's ghostly devotion, Maria's sacred heart. Their loves were rare, bioluminescent fungi, beautiful, fascinating, and often poisonous. Finn had broached the subject of the next one with the caution of a man defusing a particularly whimsical bomb. "So," he begun, while we were salvaging the scratches of a rabid squirrel had left on Oak's arm. "The consortium reconvenes tomorrow, at the Gilded Nymph. Pacifica's orders," I had grunted, applying the poultice with a gentle, precise touch. "She said," Finn continued, with his tone carefully neutral, "that the topic is comparative relationship dynamics, a round table. She said it was time for a structured data exchange." I had finished bandaging Oak's arm. A structured data exchange on love. The concept was as alien to me as a shopping mall was to the forest. And yet, a part of me, a part that had now catalogued the different growth patterns of my children, was curious. How did these other strange, fierce women cultivate their particular emotional gardens? "I will go," I stated. Now, the day had come. As the twin sun began their descent, I felt the deep, grounding pull of the wild reseed, replaced by the low anticipatory hum. Anthropologic fieldwork. I pressed a kiss to Briarfern's strawn hair and to Oak's brow, which was still furrowed in a heroic pout. I gave Finn a look that was both a farewell and a command. The territory must be held, and the pack must be fed. He saluted. "We're domesticating the rabid squirrels. Diplomacy this time. A worthy, if foolhardy endeavour." I stepped into the hollow of the transport tree, whispered the incantation, and felt the world dissolve into a stream of emerald energy. The rich scent of damp earth and blooming night glowers was replaced by the sterile, perfumed air of the Gilded Nymph. The symphony of the forest became a muted, thrumming bass line. They were already at the obsidian table, a collection of contrasting specimens. Himiko Toga was dissecting a piece of her rare steak with unsettling focus, her eyes occasionally flickering up to track the waitstaff. Masha Kujou sat stiffly, looking at her elegant dress was a form of torture. Aira Shiratori was a faint, shimmering outline, a sigh given form. And Pacifica Northwest was the presidenting authority, a vision of glacial perfection, in a dress of silver and white. "You are precisely 7 minutes late," Pacifica announced, not looking up from her data slate. but I've accounted for primal timekeeping discrepancy in my schedule. Sit. We're beginning with foundational decisions. I slid into the booth. My attire of living moss and cured leather a direct challenge to the dead opulence in the room. Before I could even settle, a whirlwind of sequins and energy descended. HW! You made it! Crazy Mita exploded, throwing her arms around my shoulders. I tolerated it for precisely 2 seconds before a low growl rumbled in my chest. She released me, unfazed. Love the energy. So feral. So authentic. We were just getting the briefing. Pacifica's running this like a board meeting. I love it. I brought a presentation. Pacifica sighed, a sound of profound suffering. This is a round table. Crazy Mita, not a shareholder pitch. She tapped her data slate. Now, the premise of this discussion is to analyze the structural integrity and operational efficiency of our respective romantic partnerships. We will proceed in an orderly fashion. Toga, you are the most volatile variable. We shall address your situation first. Define your relationship with the subject, Deku. All eyes turned to Himiko. She set her knife down and her fork down. A slow, deliberate motion. Her smile was a razor blade. Deku is my everything, she purred, her voice syrupy and dangerous. He's the sun I orbit. My love for him is biological, a fundamental need, like blood or air. I want to understand him, truly understand him, from the inside. Masha paled. The inside? Himiko's eyes gleamed. I want to wear his skin. I want to feel his quirks surge through my veins as if it was my own. I want to carve my name on his bones so we will never be apart. When he smiles, I want to steal that smile and keep it in a jar. When he bleeds, I want to drink it so he's a part of me. She looked around the table, her head tilted. Isn't that what love is? The desire to become one? To erase all lonely, empty space between two people? A stunned silence filled the space. Aria's form flickered violently. It was Crazy Mita who broke it, slamming her hand on the table. Yes! That's what I'm talking about! Total market saturation. You don't want to be just a partner. You want to be the parent company. You want to absorb his entire brand. It's aggressive. It's hostile. I love the ambition. It's not ambition, Himiko snapped back. Her playful tone vanished. It's the truth. It's the only pure form of love. You look at someone and you think, you're so perfect. I need you to be complete. It is not a business. It's a holy war. A hostile takeover is a holy war in the corporate world, Mita shot back, leaning across the table. But you're all passion, no plan. You're leaving locks of hair when you should be launching a proxy fight. You need to get on his board of directors before you should dissolve the company. You keep using these stupid words, Himiko snarled, a knife appearing in her hand, as if by magic. She pointed it at Crazy Mita. You don't get it. This isn't a game of pretend money. This is real. This is my heart. I feel my muscles coil, ready to intervene. This was the escalation I had anticipated. Enough! Pacifica's voice cut through the tension, cool and sharp like an ice shard. Toga, put the cutlery away. You are violating the code of conduct. Crazy Mita, your analogies are unhelpful. Your relationship, Toga, is a textbook example of unsustainable, high-yield, high-risk asset. It's fascinating from a theatrical standpoint, It's destined for catastrophe, crash. The emotional vitality alone is a liability. Himiko sank back, the knife vanishing. She looked sullen, but also strangely validated. You don't just understand the yield. Pacifica made a note on her data slate. Duly noted, Aira. You are the opposite end of the spectrum. A non-corporeal entity, tethered by the emotional attachment. Define your relationship with the subject, Okuran. Aria's whispery voice was like the wind through a cracked tomb. My relationship is a memory. A very beautiful memory. She looked down at her translucent hands. I love him. I love how flustered he got. I love how stupid, brave face when he was scared but tried anyway. I miss the warmth of his hand. I miss the sound of his voice. A spectral tear traced a path down her cheek, freezing in a tiny crystal of sorrow before it vanished. Momo, she took my life, but she couldn't take this. This love, it's all I have left. It's my anchor. It's what's keeping me from fading completely. The table went quiet. The raw, quiet pain of her statement was a stark contrast to Himiko's violent passion. So it's a legacy, Crazy Mita said, her voice uncharacteristically soft. A brand that persists after the company has been dissolved. Arias nodded, a slow, sad movement. I suppose so. I'm a ghost of the love I've felt, and I'll haunt that feeling forever. But it's so passive, Himiko injected, frowning. You're just waiting? You're not doing anything. You're not trying to be with him. How can I? Aria's voice broke. I'm dead. The only way I can be with him would be to drag him down here with me, and I could never do that. My love for him is what keeps me from being a monster. So I just miss him. And I love him. And that has to be enough. Masha, who had been listening with a pained expression, suddenly spoke up. But it's not passive. It's loyal. It's a different kind of strength. To love someone so much that you would rather endure an eternity of longing than cause them a moment of harm. She looked at Aira with a newfound respect. I understand that. Pacifica made another note. A fascinating case. A love that can be transcended its operational life cycle to become a permanent non-physical asset. The ultimate brand loyalty. Shiratori, you have my condolences on the corporation dilution. Aria gave a watery, spectral smile. Thank you? Masha, Pacifica continued, turning her cool glaze. Your situation is a unique corporate merger, or rather, a proposed merger, with a contested acquisition target. Define your relationship with the subject, Masachika Kujou, with the parameters of your rivalry with your sister, Alia. Maria flushed a deep, beautiful scarlet. She fidgeted with the tablecloth. It's not a rivalry, no, not really. It's a shared catastrophe. She took a shaky breath. I love him. He's infuriatingly kind and dense, but he sees past my bluster. And Alia, my own sister, she loves him too. I see in the way she looks at him when he's not watching. I hear it in her voice when she talks to him in Russian, thinking I don't understand. She looked around the table, her eyes full of confused, earnest anguish. How can you love someone and hate that you love them? How can you love your sister and hate that she loves him too? Every kind word between them feels like a bad betrayal. Every silent meal is a battlefield. We share a room, we share a life, we share our secrets, and now we share this heartache. It's like we're two trees. Our roots are tangled around the same single source of water, and we're both slowly choking each other. A classic resource scarcity issue, Pacifica nodded, as if diagnosing a faulty engine. Two entities with the near identical value propositions for a single contract. The solution isn't to choke. It's to demonstrate a superior value. What is your unique selling proposition? What do you offer that she does not? Masha stared at her, baffled. He's not a contract. You can't just make a list of features. Why not? Pacifica asked, genuinely curious. Every relationship is an exchange. I provide Dipper with a social capital, logistics support, and a significant upgrade in his personal aesthetic. He provides me with intellectual stimulation, a moral compass, and access to a world of fascinating non-taxable assets. It's a balance exchanged. But love isn't transaction, Masha cried, her voice rising. It's a feeling. It's messy and stupid, and it doesn't make sense. I can't just walk up to him and say, choose me, because I'm more emotionally available than my sister. Why not? Pacifica repeated. Clarity is efficient. Because it's not that simple. Maria's shoulders slumped. Because maybe he loves her too. Or maybe he loves neither of us. The not knowing is the worst part. The shared silent ward across the breakfast table. Crazy Mita, who had been listening with rapt attention, slammed her hand on the table. I got it! You don't make him choose. You merge. You form a new corporate entity. A trivinium. You and your sister become CEOs, well, co-CEOs, of the Russian technological industry. Maria and Pacifica both stared in her at horror. That is highly irregular, Pacifica said, a look of distaste on her face. The governance structure would be a nightmare. It's disgusting, Himiko added, wrinkling her nose. Love should be exclusive, possessive. You can't share your favorite toy. It's not a toy, Maria and Aira said in near unison. The table devolved into a catastrophe of overlapping arguments. Himiko preaching the gospel of possession, Crazy Mita pitching the revolution corporate structures, and Maria defending the messy humanity of it all. And Pacifica trying to impose order with clinical definitions. Aria just watched, a sad ghostly smile on her face. And through it all, I remained silent, the observer. Their loves were such intricate, fragile constructions, a prison of obsession, a moment of memory, and a tangled knot of rivalry. They were all fighting for control, for certainty, for a way to own something that, by its very nature, could never truly be owned. Pacifica, finally restoring a semblance of order, turned her gaze to me. Huntress Wizard, you have been notably quiet. Your partnerships with the asset Finn the Human appears, from external metrics, to be both stable and highly effective. Define it. How do you quantify your operational synergy? All eyes turned to me. The obsessed, the ghost, the rival, the strategist, and the chaos agent, all waiting for their feral women to explain her heart. I took a slow breath, the words feeling like a rough, unhewed stone in my mouth. There is no qualification, I began, my voice low. There is no synergy. There is only recognition. I look at them, each of them in turn. Himiko, you speak of becoming one through consumption. I became one with Finn through alliance. We are both different species who learn to hunt together. We do not consume, we provide. Aria, your love is a beautiful ghost. Mine is a living, breathing thing that I must tend to every day. It demands sunlight and water and the shedding of the blood to protect it. Maria, your love is a battle for a single heart. My love was never a battle to be won. It was a territory we explored and claimed together, side by side. I finally looked at Pacifica. You speak of balanced ledgers and strategic assets. My heart has no ledger. There is no balance to be struck. There is only the truth of the hunt and the peace of the den. He is the storm. I am the ancient forest. The storm does not seek to own the forest. It reveals its wildness. The forest does not seek to tame the storm. It is strengthened by its fury. We are not in cooperation. We are an ecosystem. The table was utterly silent. Even Mita was speechless. Pacifica was the first to recover. She studied me, her head tilted, and for the first time, I saw not cynical analyst, but a flicker of genuine, uncalculated curiosity. An ecosystem, she repeated slowly. No corporate structure, no governing board. Just mutualistic symbols. Yes, I said. But how do you resolve disputes? Masha asked. How do you know that it's working? We fight, I said simply. Not with words of business or strategy. We fight with claws and staffs and magic. We test each other's strengths, and when the fight is over, we are either stronger or we are not. There's no ambiguity. And it is always working because we choose, every day, to stand our ground and to share it. Himiko was staring at me, a strange, unreadable expression on her face. You don't want to wear his skin? I want him to be strong, in his own, I replied. His strength is my strength. His freedom is my freedom. To cage him would be a cage a part of myself. Aria's form solidified slightly, glowing a slight bit brighter. You get to touch him? She whispered. A world of longing in those 4 words. I nodded. I do. The rest of the evening passed in a more subdued tone. The argument ceased, replaced by a series of genuine, probing questions directed at me. They were trying to understand a world without walls, a love without contracts. I answered as best as I could, with my rough-hued truths. When it was time to leave, the farewells were less stiff. There was a new unspoken respect. Stepping back into the transport tree was like shedding a skin of complexity. The journey was a purification. I emerged into the deep, living darkness of my forest. The air was cold and clean. The mud moat was a glorious water-filled trench. Inside the cabin, the children were asleep, their dreams untroubled by corporate takeovers or spectral longings. Finn was dozing in by the hearth, a half-finished wooden carving of a very confused-looking rabbit squirrel in his hand. He stirred as I entered. Hey, he murmured, his voice thick with sleep. How was the data exchange? I went to him, knelt, and rested my head strong against his chest, listening to the steady, strong dum of his heart. His arms came around me, pulling me into the warmth and safety of his embrace. It was loud, I said into his tunic. And complicated. He chuckled. Figured. Lifted my head to look at his face, at the simple good man etched into the firelight. They built fortresses, I said, with high walls and deep moats. They fight wars over deeds and draw up contracts for their hearts. He smiled, a thumb stroking my cheek. And what do we do? I look at it from his face to our children, then back to him. My ecosystem, my wild, unbounded country. We, I said, my voice full of a quiet, ferocious certainty, are the open sky. I would not trade a single inch of it for all of the forests in the world. His smile was my sun, and in his light, I knew I was home. I'm Toga, Himiko Toga. I will love, live, and die normally. Just a quick blood reminder that if you want to see more videos, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe and click that notification bell so that way you can get notified whenever there's a new upload.
I love you, Deku. Makes my heart race just saying it.